I wish all of you had the privilege of being right where I am in the midst of this wonderful sound of harmony, voices of men who love each other, who have come for the purpose of illustrating brotherhood across this great land of South Africa. The concerts are scheduled for here in Cape Town. We're also going to be in Durban. We're going to be in Port Elizabeth and back in Johannesburg for a concert. This is the Arise, O Man chorus as we are assembled on our way to Robben Island, the place where Nelson Mandela was in prison for most of 27 years. And it was this historic experience that brought such a dramatic change to the whole country of South Africa.
What we're doing here is speaking to the world.
Yeah.
And it's speaking to the world about what I think to be one of the most important subjects besides salvation, and that is getting along, Amen. Relationship.
Amen.
Yes.
And I hope we can, in this process, represent what Nelson Mandela invested so much of his life by way of a dream that somehow injustice and divide among people could be united. And we come saying Jesus is the uniter. Yes, this is a very special morning for all of us who are associated with the Arise Man mission, because we're demonstrating with this experience today that I guess I can say we express a big amen for who Mandela was and what he stood for. And we are desirous of putting our feet on the ground where this man stood so that we can maybe experience a little bit better some of the things he stood for. This is this big fancy shopping center here in the harbor as we're about to disembark for Robben Island. We're looking forward, I guess, to a 20 to 25 minute run across the water. This has to be a very special time for anyone who would get to come to Robben Island. Yes, we can read headlines in the news, even read books that give us the history of an experience like this. But until you stand here, and I've already expressed it as holy ground, and here today we've had opportunity to be with this gentleman who spent 10 years incarcerated here simply because he wanted the right to be understood, accepted, and treated as a child of God, another human being. I've just got to say, I'll never be just the same after having visited Robben Island and put my head in that little cell where Nelson Mandela spent 18 years of his life sleeping on a mat, the thickness of a blanket, and through the cold, frigid, terrible weather of this place, covered by 2 other blankets, and even had to draw up his knees under his chin a bit because it wasn't long enough space for a tall man like him to sleep. And speaking of tall man like him, without the elevation that he ultimately achieved, this place might be much like it always had been. And I'm grateful that we can be here and take a moment really to acknowledge who this man was and what he did, and to thank God that there is a modern Moses who can do whatever it takes to free his people. Nothing could be more appropriate for us to sing a song of unity, brotherhood, and hope than right here on Robben Island. Hear the harmony. the spirit of brotherhood and unity. This is terrific. And people are joining us. And that's the intent of this tour, is to not only represent the principles for which these courses stand, but to have others become a part of us as we become a part of them.